What's going on? What's up? What's up? What's going on? How are you all doing? Welcome back. Welcome back. As you're coming in, please make sure you hit the like button. Share this live stream with everyone else by hitting the like button. And don't forget to subscribe if you're completely brand new here. We have a topic to cook today for the next hour or so. Dating preferences. All right, we're going to be reacting to a video. Okay, by the way, again, make sure you subscribe because there's so many topics that's coming up. Okay, and the last thing I want to do is I don't want to be pushing too many topics into any one session. Okay, so make sure that you're subscribed so at least you can catch a rebroadcast of some sort. Okay. Well, welcome. Please shout yourself out in the chat. Let me know where you're plugging in from. Let's talk about dating preferences. I don't care how old you are. This topic is necessary for you because you're raising kids. And at least you're raising kids. Some of them are going to come to you. And they want to hear your insights. Some of them are going to say, you don't know anything about this dating scene. You can't teach me nothing. A lot of them are going to say that. So you also need to know what to say to them to get them to calm down. All right. So it doesn't matter what age you are, anywhere from 19 to 60, you need to hear this topic. There's a lot going on in this time and age in the dating scene, in relationships, and of course in marriage, right? So we got to keep talking. Okay. At least for your own sake, for your own personal life. We have to keep talking. I want to learn from you as usual, but I just want to discuss some of these issues with you. So again, as you're coming in, make sure you're hitting that like button. Today we're talking about dating preferences. I have a video from a young lady, Kendra G, who is a radio host here in the United States, that we're going to react to. And then we'll take it from there. Let's get started. All right, D'Souza, good to see you. Good to see you, D'Souza. Good to see you here. Film girl from Atlanta, Georgia. Good to see you. So again, we're testing the new times. We're testing the middle of the time here. Okay. Let me see something here. Okay. All right, we're looking good. All right. So hopefully the sound is just as perfect. Let me know. Can you hear me clearly? Can you see me clearly? Is this good? Can you hear me clearly? Just let me know that you can hear me. Audio, visuals, that everything is perfect. And then let's take it from there. As a matter of fact, let me do something really quickly before I get started. Because once I get started, we'll get going, right? Okay. Let's see. Let's put this here. I'm going to post that. So I put a call-in link up there. Just in case anytime during the next hour you decide you want to come and chime it up with me or... All right, I'm going to try to make sure I pin that to the top. That way anybody that's coming in can see that. Awesome. All right, good. Good, awesome. Good to go. Hey, Abby, good to see you, Abby. Good to see you, Abby. Awesome. Gracious greatness. I can hear Una well. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. All right, good. So the first thing I wanted to talk about really quickly is to say congratulations. I will post this to the community page later on today. I've been posting in the community page of the channel. So I will continue to post there. Sometimes as I'm going about my day, you know, sometimes I just want to share with you, right? As I'm going about my day, so that I can post a picture, I can post a poll to get your opinion, So I will keep posting it. So make sure you're always checking the community page. When you go to the channel, there's a tab that says community. As a matter of fact, we just got that in the last 2 weeks. You have to hit 500 subscribers to get that feature. So we have it. So let's take advantage of it. I'll be posting there. Reply to me, respond to me, let me know what your thoughts are. If you have a disagreement with me, please share that with me, because this is how I learn. It's one of two things: either because I need to improve my communication skills, or because I'm flat out wrong, which can happen. Okay, so please make sure you're engaging over there. All right. All right, let's see here. The next thing I want to share with you before we dive into the topic is this right here. Let me say an official congratulations to you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we hit that 1,000 subscribers. Okay, thanks to you. Thanks to always hitting that like button. Thanks to the Obodo fam. Of course, this is the Prestige family here right now, which includes the Obodo fam and Day Ones, and people all around the world, from America to Africa, and of course the UK, right? The Europeans, the Switzerlands, right? So we're gonna continue this conversation. Again, 1,000 subscribers is a big deal. Okay, it took us. We launched this platform exactly almost a year ago. It was October, and I launched it with 100 videos, which I will suggest that when you get a chance, go back and watch those videos. Okay, it's about 100 videos that were designed for men. There's a video that I'm going to do next week. We're going to talk about men in crisis. Okay, what's the point of talking about men in crisis when 85% of this channel is about women? Well, you need to understand the nature of the beast you're trying to interact with. Okay, you need to understand what's going on with them in the digital age. There's some stuff that's going on, and I want to share those with everyone here so you can learn how to navigate. Technology is an interesting thing. You know, technology is designed to solve problems, but every time you create a solution, that solution creates new problems. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the idea of working remotely, the dangers of working remotely. Of course, we know the upside of working remotely from home, but there's some dangers to it. There's dangers to it that has to do with our social nature as human beings, and we want to talk about that. And we want to talk about how, obviously, men are, the numbers show they are more dangerous than women, period, in every sense you can think of, right? So we're able to leverage that to protect ourselves, protect our family. But what if we start facing each other, right? What is the danger in that, right? Is that happening in any way? Those are things we want to talk about with respect to relationships and how you can navigate that. All right. So we got to keep the conversations going. The more the merrier. So let's keep the next stop right here is 1,100 subscribers. I think we're about 40 away from that. So we're going to get that done, right? We're going to get that done. So congratulations to you, the Prestige family. 55,000 views. The next stop is 60,000 views. We have videos on this platform. I think the number one right now used to be some other videos with Tariq Nasheed, but right now it's the Obodo fam. So we're rocking with that. It's relationship talks, but we also don't want to cover our eyes and pretend like there's not some things going on in this world. We got to pay attention. Okay? We got to pay attention. All right. So with that being said, so yeah, I wanted to share that with you. Let me just make sure I am talking to you here. We have Chiny. Hey Chiny. Hey Chiny. Let's see here. We have Oga Man of Prestige. Share you dey market this channel at men like myself or the woman. It's anybody that has interest in healthier relationships. Anybody that has interest in healthier relationships. Naturally, it's going to be a lot of women. Now, just the way it works, just the same way why you have a lot more women in church than men, right? Even the manosphere that was designed for men to talk, women are taking over, and it is what it is. So this is a public platform, so we have to make it all inclusive. And the idea that it's going to be, oh, this is men, it's just false. So we might as well talk to each other and try to understand each other from that standpoint. If I want to create a barbershop, I'll make it offline. Once it's online and everyone can access, then we have to be extra sensitive to all sides. Uh, we have to. That's just social skills, and that's emotional intelligence that a lot of people on both sides, either in the women's space or women's space, they lack. If there are men in the room, there are things that are going to trigger them wrongly. And if you're completely insensitive to that and you don't want to empathize with that, you're probably creating more damages than you're creating any good. So this is going to be all inclusive right now. Of course, it was started with the idea of taking care of men in mind, but we're pivoting. Number one, I'm not gonna front because Obodo fams are here. So it's a lot of women. So I want to make sure everybody is taken care of and we have the capacity to carry that conversation. So we're going to do exactly that. All right. Thank you so much for that question, gracious greatness. But I want more men and more men coming in because it's going to be already hard for us. Because, man, if it's not a situation where it's men that are going through pain, that are just looking for a space to bash women, they're probably not going to pay much attention. But if you're here, that means you care to understand a little bit more about how relationships work, And Chani says she just got the notifications. Yes, let's keep hitting the like button. The notifications, they basically work based off of how much you hit the like button. So if YouTube sees that all 12 of us here, that we are engaging as much as possible, even though you guys are busy like me, right? Then, YouTube have no choice than to respond and share the platform with more people. All right. If you create prestigious men, then we draw the men here, our brothers. Yeah. If if you have a club ever as a young person, you know that the ladies draw the man. All right. Again, social skills, emotional intelligence. We got to pay attention to everything holistically. If there are ladies here, we'll get more people here. All right. And seeing that you've been live for 30 minutes. No, 13 minutes. 13 minutes. Been live for 13. We started at 12. Okay. So I'm still looking for the best time for everyone, So yeah, this is one of my brothers here, obviously, and that's why he's asking this question. So shout out to you, gracious greatness. Thank you so much. Yes, Ephesians 5 men, particularly Ephesians 5:26. That man that understands that the way he shows up is what basically will attract the type of relationship he wants. It has nothing to do with conditional feminism or conditional femininity, or conditional submissive woman. Of course, everything in life is if you're not God, it's to a large extent is transactional. If people don't feel safe and secure around you, they're not going to be feminine. It's just the reality. It's not something that they deliberately do. Or you can't just choose to be submissive when you feel like it, right? They don't choose it. It's just a natural order of things. If they don't feel safe and secure, they need to protect themselves. That's precisely coming from masculine energy. It's not something that people just randomly decide to do, right? Now, why don't we use the same thing for men? When men get in their feminine energy and they get overly emotional and they lose their cool, they lose their masculine frame. Why don't we use the same energy? Well, we can't do that in these conversations because we live in an ecosystem that's designed to be led by men based off of survival, biology, and these other things, social constructs, right? So somebody's going to have to take responsibility for leadership. And we don't wait for permission to lead. We just lead. Because even if there's big chaos problem in front of us as men, we look at that, we assess it, and we still lead. We don't say, it's your fault for not letting me lead. You can say it if you want, it just doesn't solve any problem. Right? So, absolutely, Obodo fam is representing. Yep. Yeah, we started at 12. So we're going to stagger between 12 and 1. So just look out this week. I think the only day we're doing at 2 p.m. is Thursday. Okay. Let's see. Between diaspora and gender war, which battle we blacks want fight is too much. Just fight your own battle, my brother. You know, there's more than enough in your personal life and your relationships. And if you take care of your own household, you'll be impacting the community even better. You take care of your children, take care of your relationship with your lady, with your husband. If you focus on the household, right, you will now have something to offer the world by way of being a good example, right? Yep. So, yep. So let's keep going. We got this video we want to react today. Again, congratulations to us. 1,000 subscribers. We're at 1,065 right now. So we're about maybe 35 to 40 away from 1,100. That's the next stop. One person at a time. That's all that's needed. We don't need to be 100,000 right now. We need to be 100,000 at the right time. And if we're giving enough value to the world, it will respond. The algorithms are designed that way to respond. So make sure that if you're liking it, you hit that like button at least once before you leave. And there's something else that I always ask you ladies and gentlemen of prestige to do. Grab the link grab a link. Just grab a link, just click share and send an email to 10 of your favorite people. People that you know would appreciate a conversation about relationships, either in business or in our personal lives. All right. So with that being said, let's go to this video. It's Kendra G. Kendra G, she's a radio host. Okay. She's a radio host in Chicago, I think. But in recent times, she got online and she started doing interviews for singles. Okay. She started doing interview for singles, and quite interesting conversations, right? So over the past 2 or 3 years, I engaged these conversations actively online, and I've noticed that they as is it Gen Z or Generation Y or Generation which one, right? Which generation are we talking about? The ones that were born in the last 20 years to the last 30 years. They have this thing called the delusion or illusion of choices and knowledge. You know, knowledge and information is everywhere. You know, when something is too much, if you understand economics, basic economics, right? When something is too much, the value of it declines. It's just the natural order of things, right? And information is exactly that. You could literally be walking and you're on Google, right? And on Google, you know, you have at your fingertips billions upon billions of information, right? And sometimes you're confused. Which one is the right answer to this? Which one is the right, you know, which one is the right answer? You know, you get tons of coaches, you get tons of advisors. Everyone is an advisor, right? You get tons of counselors, right? Advisors, people with opinions everywhere, content everywhere, right? You see that everywhere you go online. And it doesn't matter what somebody is trying to buy, right? It doesn't matter what you're trying to buy. Maybe you have a question, you have a problem you're trying to solve. The first place that most people go is to go on Google, right? And Google is a bathroom wall. All of us get to slap whatever we want on it, right? So, as good as that sounds, technology, like I said earlier, it's created a new problem. So now the new problem is that we have to filter out through all this information. So the information, as much as it is all over the place, is not necessarily useful or beneficial for you. Okay? So, and that's something you should pay attention to. So any information that's out there, anything in life that's too much, it declines in its value for you. Information. So more than ever before, we need information that's already processed for application. We need wisdom. In fact, more than ever before, we need to talk to our elders. Okay, our elders, they don't have all the answers because they have a tendency also to project the bullshit that didn't work 50 years ago on us, right? So it's not good enough to just go to them and take their words as gospel truth, because it's not. But we need to assess all of it, right? The information we have today in this time and age in terms of dating, relationships, and marriage, and we need to find a sweet spot balance between that and what used to work. And most people nowadays just want to have an opinion, right? They just want to spill. I'm guilty too. Okay, I'm guilty as well, right? Shout out to Ice Highs. Shout out to Marriott. Good to see you all here. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yes, thank you. Please support the channel. Thank you, D'Souza. Right. All right. So we have to really understand that, like, any extremes is terrible. Okay? Any extreme is terrible. If you have extreme ideologies of any type, it will create bad outcome for you. If somebody says, no, it's just the elders people that always sees it, that's also bad. If somebody says, like, we don't need to hear these old people, let's just go on Google and research, especially if it's more so of an action than is their words, meaning they move this way. They don't necessarily say it in words, but their mindset is set. They think they can Google everything. They don't need the elders. They're also going to create bad outcomes when it comes to relationship, at least. Okay, so but because even in the corporate world, you will make mistakes, and they want you to talk to people. They want experience. The experience is still the king of all types of knowledge. Experience creates wisdom, right? All right. So we live in the world where we used to be like, okay, it's not really a bad thing to have a therapist who's not married. Like, they have the knowledge. They went to school. They got licensed by the state, right? But I don't know how I feel about that. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you feel now about the idea of a person that's not married, right, being a licensed therapist to married folks? On the surface, I don't see anything wrong with it. But just a few weeks ago, there was this young lady on TikTok that went viral who was actively bashing men. And she eventually got fired by her job. She was supposed to be a therapist or something like that. So things are very bad. Things are just in a bad place, that I feel like, okay, while we can license people can gain some experience by coaching them, right? They need some level of assessment at least before they should be trying to advise people on emotional matters, right? Why would a 23-year-old boy, literally a boy, when I say boy, I'm not even trying to disrespect him, the way he talks, you could tell that this is a boy because I can still smell the breast milk on his breath through the internet. Why is he advising a bunch of 60-year-old men that American women are terrible and they should all travel overseas? Again, remember, what we're talking about is where we are right now in terms of opinions. Everyone has an opinion on the internet, and we don't know how to separate. Once you find an opinion that relates with your journey, you tag onto it like it's some kind of gospel truth, like some kind of expertise, knowledge, right? We all do it. We're all guilty of this. Let's not even cap, right? So anyway, let's keep going. We're gonna get into the video in a second. What happened to what an old person sees sitting the young ones can't see on a skyscraper? That is still a very true statement, but it's not to be taken literally. Because if you want to go the literal route, old people have their own struggles too. They can't see what's new, right? They can't see. They can't. That's like, I can't see A lot, like I don't have experience in the dating scene in the last 15 years. I can't see what you can see. I will have to I have to be good at listening to your concerns about what is wrong right now. I have to be extremely good. Now I have to match that with my insight, and then maybe I can give you some kind of insights. And then you have best of both worlds, right? Because there's a reason why you're struggling. It's because you haven't figured, it's something you're struggling to figure out too. That's just the reality. So maybe I can add what I know with what you know because you're the one experiencing it, and with the overall experience of life, and maybe we can come up with something. But any extreme side is just arrogance in demonstration, right? Yes, Ola, because everyone is preview to inform ABD. What's ABD? Want to say say it off, point it out. Yeah, I think I get what you're saying. The technology makes us feel as if we've got an infinite amount of possibility. Yes. It's illusion of choices. It's the same thing with Tinder or any of the dating apps. You could just swipe, 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 right? And then by the time you swipe 100 times, what is that doing to your mental status? What is that doing to your mindset about dating? Is that creating a healthy thing, or is creating more damages? Because that's honestly the biggest variable of everything, your mindset, right? You're swiping. On the surface, of course, that's supposed to be a good thing. You have all these options. But are they exercisable options? Right? You also have men that will say, but women have all these options. They can have sex whenever they're ready. Because they have all these men sliding in their DMs. That's another form of illusion of options. Are women willing to exercise options with all these people sliding in their DMs? Is this what they want? Is there a balance between what they want here and what they have available? Are the women realistic enough to see maybe that's what's available for me? Is being realistic even necessary? Is it even relevant here? Right? These are the questions, right? The major dating app platforms came to market and are celebrating 1 decade of being available. Hinge and Tinder. Yes. But these guys, I'm not sure, they might have created more damages than any good. There are a lot of people that have gotten married, good marriages, off of dating apps. Even regular apps like Instagram, Facebook, yes, people are meeting online. Let's not front. But we hear the good news, right? What about the terrible news? How many bad news are out there with regards to dating apps, right? What did they call it? There's a name they call people that pretend to be who they're not. That completely escaped me right now. Right? Anyway, so let's keep going. It still stands strong, but Gen Z don't know ends their costly mistake. Yeah, it's a lot going on. It's going to affect all of us because this is our children. Even if you're an older person, right? They're going to have to deal with this mess that technology is creating. I love technology. You have no idea. But technology is creating problems, right? Sometimes their information will pass old people. Yeah. The NASA lady, was she NASA lady? Yeah. I think that was her. Yeah. All right, so let's get through. I'm gonna come back. You, ladies and gentlemen, Prestige, thank you so much. Let's get through this video. So this is the video. I'm gonna play a short clips and then we're gonna dissect it together. Okay.
Like 7 to 8.
Jasmine said, "Let him rate you." So they want you to rate me.
A 7.
I'm a 7?
Yeah.
Oh, now they're telling me to ask you to rate yourself. What is your number?
A 6.
Okay, so if you're a 6, why would you only date a 7 and up?
I mean, if I'm paying all your bills, I mean, I did what I want.
She can have kids, right?
No, no tit.
Oh, no kids.
No tit.
No tits?
No, no tit.
No tits? Does a woman gotta look a certain way?
Yeah.
All right. So, what are your thoughts so far? What are your thoughts so far? Let me know your thoughts so far. Right? Let me know your thoughts so far. It's a little bit longer, so we're gonna get into it. Okay. I just want to make sure I put a still video on so you can. What are your thoughts so far? All right. He thinks Kendra is a 7. Are you guys familiar with the rating thing? Like rating people for dating? People want 5. Everybody wants, obviously, everyone wants a 7 and above. Kevin Samuels made it illegal to rate anyone a 7. There's no such thing as a 7, right? Let's see here. There's no such thing as a 7. It's either you're 1 to 6 or you're 8, 9, and 10. Now, let me ask you, I am going to assume that most people here are people that are hanging out in regular life. Maybe you're at work right now, right? You're not just stuck on YouTube, right? For hours upon hours upon hours, right? You're not just stuck on YouTube, right? So, the rating thing, is that something that when you go out on a date that you actually think about? Do you go out on a date and say, hey, this person I'm going out on a date is a 9 or a 10, right? Do you do that? Chinese said, what's wrong with the number 7? I guess because the human mind naturally may go towards 7. When you're rating yourself, you're naturally inclined to rate yourself a 7. So it's almost like that number that we associate with average, right? When you meet a person, like, try to think about the last 3 people you were attracted to, right? Did you think, oh, I'm attracted to, he must be a 3? Is that one of the thoughts that goes through your mind? Now, I completely get that for conversational purposes online, people are using numbers because they're trying to get an answer to every little nuances of the idea of dating, right? Because the same obsession with technology, right? Technology answers it all. There's got to be a way to answer everything in numbers, in pragmatic ways, right? Let me see here. Yep, you're right about the technology having their own complexity of issues. Even the Titanic had a number of issues. Yeah, exactly. Yes, but don't believe in it because we all want different things. Yeah, 100. Because we're talking about preferences today, right? Everyone has their own preference list, right? It used to be women that had their own preference list, and women do what they do. They have a preference list. They end up, for the most part, settle for something else anyway. And settling is not necessarily a bad thing. It just means you're able to see value in a different way, right? They make it sound, now the dating scene is making it sound terrible. When you say you settle, they use things like don't settle for less. While I think you shouldn't settle for less, whatever less means to you, because that would be dependent on whatever less means for you, right? I think some people are lame enough to take that same phrase and project it into their future in an unhealthy way. Don't settle for less to some people nowadays means I have 12 things on my list and I'm not taking anything of this list. That's settling for less for some people. As opposed to saying, hey, maybe this one item that I attach value to is actually stupid. A lot of the stuff on the item list are stupid. Because even if people pass them in the beginning, 2 years from now, they may not pass those things. They don't They're short term. They're short term sighted things for the most part, right? So yes, we all want different things, right? But it's true that when you take a sample of people, that means a few number of people, right? And you put a certain, you know, when you take the number of people and you do like a survey, you can probably see patterns. I keep saying patterns, right? But even if you see those patterns, when you're about to have your own experience, there's a good chance that that pattern, because there are 7 billion people in the world, there's a good chance that that pattern will not really correlate with your personal experience, and which means it can potentially destroy the experience for you. Just look at every time somebody quotes another data, it's usually a data that's negative, and it's true, and it's facts, and it's stats. But what it projects on your personal experience is the question I'm asking. Do you pay attention to the projection of that data? So when we say 50% of marriages are ending up in divorce, right? What is that casting? What kind of image is that casting on your experience when you get to meet new people, because you're creating your experience in more subconscious way than you will ever know, right? Do you go to every date with your guards up? Which means there's a chance you're missing out on life itself because you're busy focusing on that 12 items on your list. Because somebody that you were able to resonate with told you these are the 12 stuff on your list, right? And then you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. But then that's actually distracting you from the experience you're supposed to be having. Like getting to know that person, right? Keeping an open mind. How do you keep an open mind when you have a list? It's almost impossible. I tell you right now. It's possible, but it's almost impossible because there's only so much energy, right? Energy is neither created nor destroyed. There's only so much energy available for you to spend in the right direction, right? And I personally think your skill set, social skill set, discernment, your ability to discern is always going to be much more powerful than any list. Even if it's a list you created, like nobody was able to, but you created it. The thing is that life is moving, right? How you felt in the morning is not how you feel in the afternoon, right? But if you keep an open mind, right, you're able to play some offense, right? Did you hear what I just said? You're able to play offense because this is a game. You're not playing games with people, but this is a game. Skill sets are involved, especially if you're a man or a woman of a certain age. If you're 21, 22, 23, 24, naturally you haven't had enough experience, so you don't have guards up, right? You don't have as much experience. But the more you get into older age, if you're going past 25, 26, 27, 28, now you're having dating experiences. All these people are, even if you don't sleep with them, by the way, all these people are creating impact on your spirit, right? Positive or negative. Some people are making you more close-minded. Some people are making you more open-minded. If you're not getting married to any one of these people, right, there's a good chance that they're making you more close-minded because they become rules on your list. Things to avoid. Things to avoid. Things to avoid. Okay? So let me play some more of the video. Maybe we can pick apart some, but no, let me actually engage you for a second here. Let's see what you ladies and gentlemen of Prestige are talking about. So what's wrong with the number 7? Yeah, I already said that. This is what imagine half of Kevin Kitten Hill Samuel's followers look and sound like. Marriott, be nice. But I'm sorry, I agree with you on this. Especially in the chat, not the ones that came up on anywhere. The ones that come up anywhere still have, but they're usually in the chat and they can't come up. If they come on the stage, they usually have some kind of weird ass emoji with a duck. They never show their face. It's most of them, of those 1 million subscribers, and it's a lot of them. Okay. Rating people. Yeah, rating people is I guess it can be fun. You can build a YouTube channel. If I start rating people right now and start putting pictures up, I guarantee you this channel will grow faster. But that's not why I'm here. I'm sorry. You know. Um, I look at how we connect and its intelligence. Yes, yes. Connection is subjective, but only you can tell me if you feel connected to a person, right? I may ask you a few questions to see if I can get an idea, but it's just an idea I can get. You have that experience. Experience is the king of all knowledge, and it's useful for you, right? This dating rating scale of a thing is not reflective of character or other non-visual benefits, which is what's going to drive the rest of our life for the most part. Right? I keep saying social skills, learning how to read a room. Read a room is not something you can learn in one day. Minimum, you need nine. It's like one of those things that you say 90 days, 10,000 hours, practice, practice, practice. Why? Because practice gains you experience, right? Let me see. Of a thing is not, yeah, correct. Yep. It's reductive. It is reductive. And again, it's taking you away from the beauty and the experience of life and love itself. You're missing out because those things, by its very definition, it's not stuff you can fully ever explain in a pragmatic way. You can't explain life, love, and God. That's why it's the stupidest things to argue about if there is God or not with the person. Some people feel there is not, some people don't feel. It's your faith. It is what it is. Personal. How you feel about God, we can try to pull out the Bible and try to get everybody to think the same way, but we see how that falls flat on its face all the time because there's misinterpretations everywhere. Is it misinterpretation or individual interpretations, right? There's a ton of questions that we will never get answered. So when I'm talking to you, I like to hear from you. I like to engage you. That's why I read this comment. Right? Yep. Ice, my sister, good to see you. What you're attracted to makes your rating. Yes, that's a default bias, right? We know that most people are going to date their same race. We know that most people are going to date people from their same tribe, right? What they are able to relate with. And it's very subconscious, where it's just, those ones are very obvious, we can see, right? You can look around you see most people date people that are in their circle, right? Their tribe, if they happen to be in the same country. If they go outside of the country, the chances of that happening reduces. That's the reality, right? If you have children and you're having your children in the diaspora, the chances of them marrying a white girl or a girl from a different race or a boy has increased dramatically. Why? Because what they see creates their belief system. Of course, what they see at home create their belief system, right? But also, for majority of you, your kids are spending more time in school, right? So somehow people are now frowning like, oh, my child is dating this Asian chick, and I'm not sure if I was like, dude, you don't really get to decide a lot of that. You just want to make sure that you've given them the right foundation, the right tools. That's really all you can do, right? Because you can't see everything. That's why people that are controlling always fail. Because again, they're directing their energy in the wrong direction. Compromise and informed, insightful decision making is totally different to settling. Yes, I agree. Not settling for less for me is streamlining your criteria and not compromising your priority. Yes, I will be careful with that. I'll be very careful. I agree with you on the surface. I'll be careful with it because remember, it all depends on how you're internalizing that too. That statement is absolutely true. But it depends on individuals. Some individuals will hear that from you and they will internalize that still means I need to have a list of 20 things. I can streamline it down to 5. See, all that energy is a lot. And it's energy taken away from getting to know people as people. See, what you're attracted to is what you're attracted to. You will know just because you know when you see it. It's not something you can really put on numbers. I'm talking about you. I'm not talking about what the Fibonacci scale says. I'm not talking about what Kevin Samuel scale says. I'm talking about you as an individual, as a human being with his or her own human experience, right? So that's why if I'm counseling anybody, I'm engaging. They have the answers. I don't have the answers. I may be able to help them extract the answers out, right? But I don't have the answers. Oh, go create a list of 20 things you like, and then we'll stream it down to 5. That's always, in my opinion, my humble opinion, a very, very terrible way to start anything, right? Instead, if anything is written down, it needs to be open-ended questions that will get them thinking, not something that has an answer immediately. Like, oh, 7 plus 7 equals to 14. That's not how attraction works. Attraction is an art, not an exact science. Okay? Yeah, discerning is key, and it takes practice. So, Ola, tell me how to discern. I can't. It takes practice. Get out there and share your experience with me, and then we can have a conversation around it, around your experience, and then I can help you pivot in one direction or the other. Without experience, there's no formulas. That's what some people mean when they say there's no formulas out there. Yeah, there's no formula, but that's a formula. Remember that conversation, Ice? The formula is that there is no formula, right? So the words, when it comes to romantic relationship and attraction and things like that, they fall on their face. The words, because how people interpret words vary from people to people, from background to background, from foundation to foundation, how they were raised, what they've been exposed to, how traveled they are, right? How they interpret words vary from people to people. When people say boundaries, my brain interprets like this person has a tolerance issue. But I'm wrong. I know that I'm wrong, that because boundaries are necessary in life. But that's where my brain naturally goes to. It makes me want to ask you, like, what do you mean boundaries? What do you mean boundaries? Oh, because once this person crosses this line, you say, no, go area. I'm like, so what does that do for you? What's the outcome of that for you? How's that working out for you? Oh, it's not working out. Okay, let's see. Let's talk a little bit more. Maybe boundary is not the issue. Maybe it's the way you're interpreting boundaries. Right? So nothing beats experience. The best preference list is number 1, your ability to discern. Okay? Get some experience. Then number 3, work on yourself. You know, what you can tolerate or what you can tolerate. Self-improvement is key. Self-development is key. There's just some types of human beings that can't spend too long around you. It just won't match if you're working on yourself. You have limited resource and energy. Spend all your energy on working on yourself, right? Working on yourself. Discernment. Get some experience. Okay? Give your phone number to somebody. Have a conversation. How do you feel about the conversation? Okay? 3 steps forwards, 2 steps backwards. Patience with yourself, especially. Have some patience with yourself. But don't slow down on experience in the name of patience. You see the contradiction, right? Oh, I'm just patient. I'm working on myself, so I'm not dating for the next 2 years. Don't do that to yourself. You don't have to sleep with anybody you get to know. We are social beings. We're emotional beings. We want companionship. The backbone for most successful marriages is the friendship. Not boundaries and tolerance. Not boundaries and whatever fancy word is in the newest psychology book out there. It's friendship. Why? Because we give our friends lots of grace. We give them a pass. Right? And we tend to like our friends. There are people that love their spouse and they don't like their spouse. Okay? There are people that love their spouse. They love because love, in the grand scheme of things, especially after a few years, becomes duty, responsibility. You have all those kids, you're just staying there because that's just what life is supposed to do, right? There are people like that, but they don't like their spouse. Meaning they can't sit down and relax and chill and watch TV or listen to Bishop for 2 hours together because that shit was funny as shit at the end of the day. Right? What's up, Sahil? Good to see you, Sahil. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah. What are my non-negotiable and non-negotiable expectations? I like it, but manage it. You're responsible to manage that. The older you get, you have to be aware of these things because you are aware of them anyway by default because you're gaining experiences and a lot of those experiences are terrible experiences, right? So they cast onto your future. They becomes rules, like I said earlier, in your future, right? And these rules, as much as they're rules and maybe you've turned them to a non-negotiable, they're not necessarily creating a good outcome for you. So what I find in a lot of the conversations online around dating, relationships, and marriage is that there's a disconnect from what is your desired outcome. There's a disconnect from what is the objective, right? Most people are not drawing a line from where they are to where they're trying to get to. They just focus on where they are and they focus on how it feels. And that's usually a terrible feeling, right? And then they encapsulate themselves. They put up all these guards, right? And many people are going to die alone. I hate to say it that way. Many people are going to die alone because they were protecting themselves, and rightfully so. Okay? They were protecting themselves, and rightfully so. So I just thought I'll bring that to you, like preference list. Yeah. Preference list. Experience. Get some experience. Okay? In life, especially in relationships, it's a game. And in order for you to win a game, when I say win a game, not against another person, you win the game of life and love, right? In order to win that game, you have to learn how to play both defense and offense. You know, most people are learning all the defense mechanisms to protect themselves. Well, you're right. No one is going to score anything on you, but you're not going to win either. Okay? Why? Because there's competition. There's active competition. It's a marketplace. Even though we don't like to say that, right? Because it's romantic relationships and all this kind of stuff, right? But it is a marketplace. Like, if you're hot, you'll be off this market soon. If a guy is hot and he's like your preference, your spec, right? He's going to be off this market soon. Right? That's the reality. You know? That's the reality. Thank you so much, my brother. Sahil is my brother. Thank you. Check him out, by the way. I'm on there every Sunday evening, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, having a conversation over there. Last night was lit, Sahil. Last night was lit. All right. So we just gotta be careful. This is an experience that you're having right now, and the time we're living in is quite interesting, to say the least, right? So friendship, okay, friendship. If you're able to have a conversation without trying to remember what you memorize as your preference list on a date, you're going to have better experience. Even if that particular date does not end up anywhere, at least you're not missing out on life at the very minimum. But then you're dramatically increasing your chances of finding a person that you can do life with. There are gonna be moments that you just can have sex for a few days. There are gonna be moments you're on the road, you traveled, and you can't have sex. Are you able to jump on a call from the hotel room and have a conversation for 1 hour with your husband, with your wife? Do you have that type of friendship? If you don't, are you able to work on a project together, a YouTube channel together, selling brands online with your partner, right? Are you able to build a life, a legacy together? Are you able to spend time around together? Are you able to do business together without your spouse complaining that we always talk about business? Is it exciting at that level? How do you know that's going to happen 10 years from now? It's by learning how to get to know someone right now on a date. Get to know them. Put the preference list somewhere. Put your non-negotiable and your negotiables. The only non-negotiable here is make sure you're safe. Safety, security, safety first, right? Make sure your friends and your family know where you're at, right? But get to know people. Be interested in knowing people, right? Naturally, they'll put their guards down unless it's completely damaged good in the public place, which you will find out sooner or later without having to reference your list, because you're a human being and you know what rubs you up the wrong way, right? So we're very quick to focus on red flags. Trust me, you have more than enough red flags at the back of your mind if you're more than 25. And right now is the time I'm telling you, like, listen, by default, it's going to be at the back of your mind. Learn some offense skills. You're playing a game against life itself. Time is not your mate. That doesn't mean you rush into things, but do not waste time on things that are not creating good outcome for you. If it's not creating a good outcome for you, it's not. It's just not. Okay? But it's not about getting married tomorrow. It's not about that. It's about right now in this moment. Are you having a good experience? Right? So maybe circumstances, reasons, it's not gonna happen soon. I don't know. I don't know what world you live in. I don't know your particular specifics. But don't miss out on life right now, because life is a beautiful thing. And if you're experiencing life, you're experiencing love, because that means you have relationships, people that value you, people that care about you, right? And if you focus on that, you will dramatically increase your chances of success when it comes to dating, relationships, and marriage. Because you disconnect from trying to control things with pragmatic numbers, Fibonacci scales, and all this craziness, right? You actually engage life itself and you're having a good time. All right. So yeah, that was that. Let me see what you, ladies and gentlemen of prestige, you're talking about. Let's go back. We're just going to go backwards until we'll catch up. I thought there was a wall women reach and all preferences are out of the window. That's not the conversation here. There is time for everyone. I said that earlier. Time is not your mate. It's not just women. There's some peculiar ones to men. There's some peculiar ones to women. Obviously, biological clock is a real thing for women. It is what it is. It's not something we can argue. We can't argue that. It's like arguing if there's God or not. Okay, that's just a belief system now. Leave it alone. Let's have the real conversation, relationships, right? There are circumstances that may make people be single at 40. One of them being divorce. There are options. Of course, there are options. But you're going to engage your options in a more healthier ways when you work on yourself. At that point, it doesn't matter what age. Because if you're a man or woman of a certain age, you're 55, and you're single, right? I don't need to talk about your past. Your past, we can reflect, right? We can reflect, retrospect, what things you can learn, But for me, pointing out that you've hit the wall, I don't know would that helps. I'm not sure how that helps. Okay. So yes, there is a wall as described by another sector entirely. That's not the goal here. Uh let's see. Good morning, Jojo. You came late. Make sure you watch the replay because we're about to round up right now. Just making sure now. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts before I leave? If you have no thoughts, an hour. I want to keep it to 1 hour. I'll be back here tomorrow. We'll be discussing. Let's see what we're discussing tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be discussing. Let's see what that is. Let's see. Tomorrow we're discussing polygamy, the solution to cheating. Polygamy, the solution to cheating, right? Right. Is polygamy a social construct? Is it natural? Is it nurture? Right? To men, to women, is it different? Let's talk about that tomorrow. I've got a video that we're going to react to, you know. This young man is easy to pick on his looks, but I don't know him. I don't know him. I'll tell you this much. My thought still aligns with whoever said earlier that it looks like one of those followers of Kevin Samuels in the chat. Yes. Okay, I agree with that. A lot of people they don't belong in certain conversations, and they're there because they think it's going to help them solve. They think it's going to help them solve their personal problems, and it's not. It's just when it make things worse. If you're having conversations about high value men and how women should submit regardless and not make it conditional, and you don't have $1,000 in your account right now, you're harming yourself. And sadly, my assessment, majority of people following those conversations are exactly that, and it's going to be bad. Next Monday we're going to discuss men in crisis, and we'll point out some of those things, you know. Yep. Hey, Red Lipstick Vibes, good to see you. You have to watch we're about to round up. Let's tell ourselves the truth. That's not even a cheating. So that's your opinion, Chinese. Come here tomorrow. Let's talk about it. That's your opinion. I believe more in polyamory. Oh, I want to learn about that tomorrow. I'm not interested personally, but I want to learn about it. All right. So thank you so much. Shout out to all you ladies and men of prestige. Shout out to you. Hey, Favor, you came late. Make sure you watch a replay. Chinese, shout out to Chinese to D'Souza, Jojo, Sarah Hill, my brother, Ice, my sister, Gracious Greatness, my brother. All of you are my sister, my brothers, of course, right? Marriott, Ice. Shout out to all now. Make sure you watch a replay. It's only 1 hour. Let me keep it that simple. Tomorrow, let's talk about polygamy as potentially the solution to cheating. I want to hear your opinions tomorrow. So it's going to be tomorrow. I think it's going to be 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 6 p.m. UK and Niger time. So I will definitely be seeing you all tomorrow. And hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. I'll see you on the next one, and peace.